Congratulations to Steve Mcqueen for winning the Bafta Award for Best Film, which he directed, 12 Years a Slave. And, you know, you got to take your hat off to somebody who's worked so hard and has now been recognised for the work he's done worldwide for this one movie, but he's done so many other great things as well. And, you know, I want to talk a little bit more about Steve Mcqueen, the person. And he grew up in London, at a school called Drayton Manor, and he talked about his childhood. He had a bad experience in his childhood, and said as a black young man growing up, one of the areas he touched on and focused on was his school life, and the fact that he felt that, you know, his ambitions were very much minimized because of the sort of teaching on the institutional racism that he faced. That, you know, being a young black man, he should be a builder or be a footballer or this or that, but nothing really that would be of high ambitions. He felt that that was something that he really struggled with at school. And, you know, when Steve Mcqueen said that in his interview, it sort of made me think back about my own experiences going to a secondary school, which, you know, at the time was recognised and still recognised as one of the best schools in London. My school I went to was St Bonaventure's, and I think either the head of education or the guy is pretty close to it anyway, Sir Michael Wilshaw, actually, who was my headmaster, is now very highly ranked in education. At one point, Mr. Wilshaw was able to leave St Bonaventure School and go into another school, I believe was Rokeby in East London, which was having trouble as well, and within a week turned the school around by basically kicking out those kids that were causing the problem. Now, while this sounded great at the time, now looking deeper into it, a majority of those young kids were black. Now, I'm not making this to be a black and white statement. This is not what I'm about. But what I am going to say, I'm just going to talk the truth as to what I know with my experience, is that having worked as a mentor and now looking back, you know, the school I was at, we had two things. When you weren't very good at class, or you did not access the information the way that you felt that you should have done, the teacher was not prepared to help you. Rather, and because they weren't prepared to help you and they had favourites in the class, what would happen is that you would either get bored or you would be frustrated in the classroom, and so you would end up talking or not wanting to be a part of the class because you felt so low in morale. So instead, what would happen here is that they would put you into a suspension room, which means that you would leave school late, you'd be excluded from lunchtime, and really you'd just be left in a room to get on with work, and you'd have to find your own way around it. The other thing they did was something called package classes. Those kids that they felt were disruptive or did not achieve the grades that were necessary to get to the next year group, what they would do on a Friday afternoon, those kids would be going off abseiling, sailing, canoeing. All the disrupted kids, all in one area, you know, all in one classroom, bottom of the class. Those were the kids. Now, these kids, as far as I was concerned, were talented. These kids needed extra help. Not that they had any learning difficulties, but they needed somebody to mentor them. They needed to spend more time with a strong role model that would inspire these young people. And that wasn't the case. So where there was one or two kids that were genuinely bad, the rest of the kids in that group or that in that area, and again, predominantly black kids, were unable to access the curriculum. So I kind of understand where Steve Mcqueen was coming from, and I thought I would touch on that. Now, the second part of this talk or reflection is that Steve Mcqueen, I believe, has got Grenadian heritage. If that is the case, from what I understand, it would be great for him to come to Grenada, and now that he's in a position that he's in, that everyone around the world recognises him for being, you know, producing the best film in the world and winning the BAFTAs and all the rest of the other awards he'll get for it, that he can take that one step further and now come to the Caribbean and especially in Grenada, which he's got Grenadian heritage, to be able to work with the young people in Grenada. Now, I don't know how much Steve McQueen actually knows about Grenada, because I know there are a lot of people who are born in the UK that don't really get across the Caribbean for whatever reason. Or, I mean, it took me until 38 to 37 to come to the Caribbean, because I was so caught up in Europe and all the rest of it, that, I'm kind of glad I'm out here now. And now that I'm out here, I have no real intentions of really to come back to the UK, apart from to see friends and maybe family and to shop. Other than that, I wouldn't go back. I feel more of benefit here in the Caribbean. And I believe that in Grenada, there's a stigma that if you're creative, i.e. you want to act, or you want to sing, or you want to dance, then that's not good. You should really study your books and be a doctor, or scientist, or lawyer. And that sounds fine, but when parents are saying that to young people in Grenada, it kind of breaks my heart, because now the Baylor Wide is here in Grenada, and the work that we do in Grenada, and we've got interns, and then now there's a lot of young people that want to perform, but they never had a platform. And in Grenada, there is no platform for that. So all the talented young people have to find a way to get out into the international market, and that's difficult, especially when you haven't got the training here in Grenada. So someone like Steve McQueen would be fantastic for him to come to Grenada and set up an academy, and it'd be great even to be able to work with someone like Steve McQueen and gain the experience from him. So we'll leave our contact details in the video, and of course we hope that maybe Steve McQueen will contact us at some point. But once again, congratulations to Steve McQueen. The impression I get from Steve McQueen is somebody who is probably pretty approachable, and I sort of wished I'd known more about him in terms of studying his profile sooner. But the fact that I'm in this industry as well, and kind of trying to get my own stuff together, sometimes you don't really see those things. But no excuses. I'm going to be studying Steve McQueen a lot more closer now, and yeah. So congratulations again to Steve McQueen, and really appreciate him being so straightforward and honest in his interviews about his life as a youngster. And any kid, now looking back as well as a mentor, any young person who's unable to access the curriculum, we don't all learn the same way, but it just seems in the school education, especially in England, if you're unable to access the educational system the way they put it down on a piece of paper, or say this is the way you learn, we don't all learn the same way, and so those people are isolated. And I don't think the educational system, whether it be in America or the UK, works. I think it's extremely flawed, but then that's just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think the educational system's flawed? And what are your thoughts about what Steve McQueen was saying about him and Britain being the institutional racism? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, I'm out. Thanks for listening.